What's up you guys, Sasha here. Today I want to talk about something really interesting. It's something I haven't heard other people discuss who talk about passive income and building passive income streams, and it's something that's really crucial and really important to understand. I want to talk to you about the 3 different tiers of earning passive income, and by tiers I mean fundamentally different ways that you go and do it, and you kind of have to go through the tiers, and I currently am at tier 1. I'm currently at tier 1 with most of my passive income projects, and that's because I haven't been doing them long enough. I haven't actually had the time to go and mature these because I've been doing other stuff. I've had my consulting business, I've had jobs, I've had other things that I've been doing. I'm planning to progress the passive income streams that I currently have through these tiers. But let me explain to you exactly what they are, and let me tell you exactly why you would want to progress through these tiers. Most people never actually go beyond tier 1. Even people who find relative success, even people who make quite a bit of money, quite often never actually make it into the 2nd or 3rd gear. So let me explain what they are. Now, tier 1 is where everybody starts with any passive income stream. Tier 1 is basically something where you create an asset by doing work, and that asset then begins producing you passive income over time. Now let me explain exactly what I mean by this asset. Now the big difference between passive income and active income is that you're not directly exchanging time for money. And what this means is instead of exchanging your time for money, you're actually exchanging your time for doing work, which then goes and produces something. And in this case, you're producing an asset. Now, depending on the type of passive income you have, that asset may be different. It may be a piece of music that you then get paid royalties for. It may be a photo that you then go and license to people. It could be any other type of thing. It could be a course. It could be something that people can purchase from you on and on again, like a digital product of some sorts. I'll use a simple blog as an example because most people should be able to understand that. So if you're doing a blog, if you're doing a website which is content based online, then that asset may be a blog post. So you're going to exchange that period of time to produce a blog post. And once that blog post is written, once it then ranks on Google, then every single month, some number of people are going to be turning up to go and read that blog post. And on the back of that, you'll be earning revenue, whether that's through advertising, whether that's through affiliate sales, whether that's through selling your own courses or your own merchandise or products. It doesn't really matter. Whatever money revenue stream that you have that earns money through that blog post will then begin happening month after month after month, and that's why this particular type of income is passive. Once you've exchanged the time initially, you then have to exchange no extra time in order for it to continue generating revenue every single month. Well, that's fair enough. Everyone understands exactly what that is, and that's generally what people talk about when they talk about passive income. Whenever you look at online gurus, whenever you look at people teaching courses about this, pretty much all the education, all the information you get is about building this tier 1 level of passive income. But let me tell you about what happens in tier 2 and tier 3. Now, tier 2 involves something a little bit different. Instead of exchanging your time to produce the asset, you will exchange your time to produce a system that will then generate assets all by itself. And there is a massively critical difference here in that you're exchanging your time to work on the system, not on the actual production of assets. And essentially the way this works is very similar to how gears work on a bike. Instead of directly turning the rear wheel with your hand and it then generating speed, you are turning a gear which is then connected to the rear wheel, and you're able to make far fewer rotations in order to make the rear wheel go a lot faster. So let me explain exactly what this would be in the case of a blog. So if instead of producing the actual blog post, instead of writing the actual content, instead of exchanging your time for producing the assets, if you instead went and focused on building a really amazing content management system, this system would allow writers, other people that you're going to be bringing from the outside, to spend the least possible time to go and produce high quality assets, i.e. blog posts, and you are basically the person who is focusing on managing that system. So you're the person who is managing that content management platform. Whenever you need to make adjustments to it, whenever you need to add additional features, whenever you need to go and hire the actual writers, you then go and hire editors who maybe edit the stuff that the writers have first produced. Maybe you then go and invest in some kind of plagiarism checker. It doesn't really matter. Your focus is entirely on building that system, and you are focused 100% of your time on improving that system and making more and more automations as you go. So the more things that don't have to actually be dependent on your time, the better it is. That is what tier 2 is. So the beauty here is that you're able to produce so many more assets, content in this particular case, than you would ever have been able to do by yourself. Sure, it's going to cost you money, and that's where the tier effect comes in. None of this is going to be very simple, or definitely not going to be free, and you will have to go and do the tier 1 stuff first for several reasons. First, you have to learn how the actual writing process works. Before you go and hire people, before you go and tell them how they should do it, you need to go and actually do the stuff yourself. You need to write 10, 20, 100, 200 blog posts yourself so that you can really begin seeing what works and what doesn't work. How do you do keyword research in this particular case of writing a blog? How do you do the various different elements of exactly where you should be writing what, and how do you get the right pictures? All of that kind of stuff you need to go and learn yourself, and this applies to any other passive income stream as well. You need to go and learn the art, learn how to do it yourself, so that then you can go and bring in other people to do it and train them up the right way, and you will already know the pitfalls they might get into. You will know how you can help them quickly, and you'll be able to answer any questions that they have, and you can then build the system that feeds these people and feeds their time into the system to then go and produce that output, which is going to be yielding you considerably greater rewards at the back end. You'll have to invest money up front to spend money on the content management platform, to spend money on the various people you're going to be hiring, but the net profit on the back of it is going to be substantially higher, a different level higher or tier higher, because you're able to leverage the time of other people. So that's all good. So what is this tier 3? What is this magic end goal which is going to produce an even greater return in terms of producing passive income? Let me tell you. With tier 1, you're going to exchange time to produce assets. With tier 2, you exchange your time in order to build a system that then produces those assets. With tier 3, you're exchanging your time in order to build a process which then produces systems which then produce assets. And there's a big difference between the process that I'm talking about and the systems. So let me tell you what the big difference is. When you're at tier 2, you're exchanging all of your time to work on the system. So you are trying to go and find the right people. You're exchanging your time for building the actual architecture, trying to improve the features, maybe doing a bit of coding, maybe trying to figure out which plugins you need, all of that kind of stuff. You're then having to manage the payments and all of those practical admin, all the sort of basic runnings of managing your passive income stream. If you go to tier 3, you're essentially then going to be one step removed, and instead of doing that, you will exchange an amount of time up front, so you're kind of coming full circle here, to go and build a process. And what you will then have is you will have some kind of team of people. So whether they're product managers, whether they're developers, whether they're some kind of business management people who will then have the job working for you of working on the system that then gets people into the system to go and produce the assets that then yield the revenue. And the beauty there is you're then working on the process that generates systems. So as long as you are focused on that, there are two massive outcomes that come on the back of it. One, you're able to generate multiple different systems and have enough time to be able to grow those systems over time. You will not only have enough time to work on one. Number two, there's going to be people whose dedication is 100% to improving that system, and your sole objective is to manage those people and to improve the process that generates the systems. That means that you can spend far less time on it, and you can focus your attention on other things, new projects, starting new passive income streams, or anything else that you like. The beauty here is that by this point, you have earned sufficient income to be able to structure your business in this way that you can actually take a step back, managing the way the business works overall, rather than the day-to-day grind of actually writing the 1200 or 2000 or 3000 word post and putting all the pictures in it and doing all of that by yourself. This is where you can make the really big money. This is where you can go and start multiple different websites, leverage the benefits benefit of learnings from one or two of the websites to the other new ones that you are building, being able to build centralized systems that manage all of the different properties of those websites at the same time. I'm talking about websites as the example. This applies equally to any other passive income stream that you go and choose to do. You can basically build the process that then generates the systems that then produce the assets that yield you the revenue. If you're just starting out on your journey to making passive income, you have to go through tier 1. You have to go and learn the ropes. Before you go and hire other people, before you go and teach those people exactly what they need to do, you need to get under the bonnet yourself and understand exactly how this machine works. Then you can move to tier 2 and begin working in the system. And once you've mastered that skill, then you can begin educating people working for you on how they can do more of the improvements of the system and creating new systems on your behalf. And then you can begin thinking about doing other stuff. It will take you time. It is not an overnight thing. It is not a get rich quick scheme. I don't really talk about those types of things. If you're interested in hearing how I get on with moving from tier 1 to tier 2, which is what I'm in the process of doing right now, go and subscribe to this channel. I talk about lots of interesting money topics, lots of personal finance topics, and I talk about making money online. So if you're interested in this kind of stuff, make sure you go and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you get notifications every single time one of my videos comes out. If you like this type of content, please go and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It is so important. That is how YouTube knows that you actually enjoyed it, as opposed to just sat through it and didn't like any of it, but you forgot to just turn the video off. Make sure you go and hit that like button so that this video can reach more people. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.